This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 625. Fatherhood Does Not Make You Fat by Ross Enamait of RossTraining.com. Hello, everybody. I am Greg Audino, and welcome back to Optimal Relationships Daily, the podcast where we apparently play Mythbusters on what does or does not make you fat. Can't wait to see what we've got on tap in our final parenting post of the week. Speaking of the end of the week, we also had some great posts this past week on the advice column style show I host called Optimal Living Advice. This week's episodes covered topics like the ways we can effectively help a friend in need, how to stop putting pressure on ourselves, and strategies to strengthen relationships of all kinds. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe there. Check out those episodes and all the others we've released since launching a couple of months ago. It's coming along really well so far. Today's article here on ORD, though, as I said, is by Ross Enamait. And it looks like we've got something more for the boys this time. Boys can be stupid and confusing, though, so listen up, girls, if you want some insight as to how we work and how we think. Greg. If you're a father and you think you're doomed to having no time for exercise for the rest of your life, this episode is sure to show you otherwise. Pinky swear. So, let's hear it, and let's start optimizing your life. Fatherhood Does Not Make You Fat by Ross Enamait of RossTraining.com. It's been a few months since Clemson student Mackenzie Pearson wrote a brief essay explaining the dad bod and its so-called appeal. Soon after, social media jumped all over the phrase as it quickly went viral. At the time, I never paid too much attention to the dad bod craze. Everything changed last week, however, after seeing several media outlets report that it's been scientifically proven that fatherhood led to fatness. Apparently, science skipped over this father of two children. Trends versus destiny. The first story that I read about fatherhood fatness was hosted by one of the largest news organizations in the world. CNN released an article with a rather blunt headline that proclaimed the following: "Fatherhood makes you fat." The article itself was based on research published in the American Journal of Men's Health. The referenced study concluded that adult males tend to gain weight and increase BMI between adolescence and fatherhood. Unfortunately, most readers of CNN won't take the time to read the actual study. Instead, they will simply glance over a catchy title that is undoubtedly misleading. Science has not proved that fatherhood will make you fat. The study simply highlighted a trend that is prevalent in society. Fathers don't suddenly become fat because of children. Weight is gained due to excess food and drink consumption and/or lack of physical activity. You don't need to be a father to make this mistake, just as being a father does not condemn you to such a destiny. Don't blame fatherhood. As a hard-working father of two, it truly disgusts me to see fatherhood linked to obesity. My vision of fatherhood is more apt to include descriptive words such as strength, character, and leadership. My primary goal in life is to be a hero and role model to my children. Unfortunately, articles such as that hosted on CNN paint an entirely different picture. For instance, one quote from the above-referenced piece states the following, quote, "I love to cook and eat healthy, but when it comes to compromises on time, I will trade a healthy meal for more time with my kids every time." End quote. Take a moment to digest what this quote actually suggests. If a parent cannot prepare healthy meals for himself, how can we expect him to continually provide healthy meals for his children? Since when did a busy schedule relieve a parent of his responsibility to raise a healthy and active child? Another troublesome quote from this article states the following, quote, "When you have your first child, they are your priority. You put everything else on hold, which sometimes means working out and staying active." End quote. As much as I am bothered by this quote, I completely agree with the first sentence. Ever since the day my first child was born, my kids have been my priority. My life revolves around my children. I will do anything and everything for them. Apparently, I see things differently than many fathers, however, as I strongly disagree with the second sentence. Leading by example is one of the most important things I can do. I can't expect my children to be healthy and active if I can't do the same. I will do whatever is necessary to provide an example that my children can imitate. I will never be the type of father who tells my kids one thing yet goes off and does another. As I've said before, prioritizing your health is not selfish. On the contrary, It is something that all parents should do to set a positive example for their children. We're all busy. There is no doubt that I am busier as a father than I ever was before kids. I still work the same long hours, but I'm also extremely active in the lives of my children. For instance, I spend several hours each week coaching youth sports. That's hours upon hours of time that was previously free before I had kids. You won't see me complaining about it, however. I consider it an honor to be able to coach my own kids. The time that I spend with them is time that I will forever cherish. As for what I do in my free time, I don't even remember what that is. Free time and parenting are polar opposites. There's always something to do. And that's just another reason why I'm such a big believer in exercising anywhere with anything. For example, you might see a deck as a deck, but I see it as a place to hop up and perform pull-ups. One way or another, I will make time for exercise. It does not matter where I am or what I have, I will always prioritize my health and the health of my children. Being strong and healthy improves my experience as a father. I can do more with my children. Whether we're walking the dog, throwing the ball, or just running around in the yard, I can always keep up without gasping for air. Seeing my kids laugh and smile as we play outside is all the incentive I need to remain physically fit. No one said it was easy. Contrary to what some believe, life is not supposed to be easy. Life can be extremely difficult and trying. We have all endured tough times at one point or another. Unfortunately, our children will also someday experience just how difficult life can be. No one is immune to the realities of the world, and therefore it's extremely important that we prepare our children for whatever life brings. One of my favorite quotes on this subject comes from Robert Heinlein, as he once said, quote, "Don't handicap your children by making their lives easy," end quote. On a similar note, don't handicap your children by demonstrating your own inability to deal with difficult times. Just because it is difficult to make time for exercise doesn't mean it can't be done. Do you want your children to grow up making excuses whenever they're forced to deal with adversity? Or would you rather see them work hard to find a solution? I sure as hell hope for the latter. I won't just sit around and hope for it, though. I'll be leading by example every step of the way. Fatherhood hasn't made me fat. It's certainly made me a better and stronger person, however. It's made me more cognizant of every step I take. I've never been more determined to pave a path that my children can someday follow with pride. You just listened to the post titled, "Fatherhood Does Not Make You Fat" by Ross Enamait of RossTraining.com. Now, if you are planning a wedding, you might be getting frustrated with coordinating suit and tuxedo rentals for your big day. Well, Generation Tux is here to ease your mind. How? With a free home try-on program for grooms. Free round-trip shipping and free swatches are included. Here's how it works. Everything is delivered to the home of all the party members, a full 14 days before on-demand fit consultations and your big day. That gives members time to take care of any fit issues. And when the party's over, just throw everything back in the box and use the prepaid label to drop off at UPS. How's that for reducing wedding-related stress? Everyone is invited at Generation Tux. 5 paid members earns you a free suit or tuxedo rental, and you can even keep your suit or tux with 7 members checking out. That's great value. So, don't cross your fingers and leave things until the last minute. You can take care of the details and save time and money on top of that. Most of all, save your sanity by checking out www.generationtux.com/ORD, where you can use promo code ORD for 10% off the entire groom's party. And I will just say from personal experience, I've used one of these box tux services before, and it really is so convenient. Delivered the wedding toast of a lifetime in it too, tell you that for free. A lot of wise words here shared by Ross, though. We talk a lot on here about setting examples for our children and having identities outside of our children. Yes, but rarely does fitness specifically come up, and though its results on mood might not always be as apparent as results on body, it should go without saying that staying fit is a wonderful way for both parents and children alike to stay upbeat and more rejuvenated when it comes to dealing with the difficult times in the parent-child relationship, of which there are many. Yes, it's often one of the first things to be thrown to the bottom of the list of priorities, as Ross mentioned, but it doesn't have to be, and all of us here at ORD thank him for illustrating how and why to keep fitness alive and well. But it is Friday. I know you've got plans, unlike me. Let's wrap this thing up. I've taken up a lot of your time today. Thank you so much for joining me, though, friends. I will see you back here on Monday morning in February, where your optimal life awaits.